Has any of you ever fished in a fishnets pond? Because I did, and this is what I found. That WHO conducted a study in India, and they found that 9% of respondents have experienced a serious depressive episode. Which means that if we are 100 people sitting here, 9 of us are facing a life-threatening situation. Because depression is life-threatening. Suicidal ideation and suicide is a very, very big part of depression. So, and what are the reasons for depression? Every one of us can come up with those reasons. Urban living, no support from family, dysfunctional societal systems, community, not bonded together. But what do we do about it? Because those are the realities of our urban existence. So what do we do about it? We, all of us cannot run away, leave our professions, take our kids out of the great schools that they're going to, and start living some kind of a rural idyll. That's not possible, And there was this woman, female Humpty Dumpty. Yeah. So there was this female Humpty Dumpty who had a great profession, was a great mother, had a great party life existence, vacations, everything. And still, when she went to the other side of 40, she had a great fall. Okay? And all the king's horses and all the king's men were unable to put her together again. So let's leave her for a while and move to an experience that I had once very early in the morning. I had finished my work really, really late. That's how writers have to work. And at 4 in the morning, I took my dog out for a walk with her before deciding to go off to sleep. And there was something about that magical hour. There was a promise of a new day and a promise that the night was over. And the mother lady was opening, there was the swish swish of the jharu on the wet floor, and there was this dog sleeping peacefully as if it had achieved something really, really great in his life. And that just led me to seek this hour of the day more often. And that led to the birth of a group called, very simply, Let's Walk Gurgaon. With a very simple purpose. Let's get up in the morning, let's chase the sunrise, let's reach a vantage point before the sunrise so that we can experience the sunrise. So this group started with actually 4 people. Within a week there were 40, 400, and now we are about to reach 4,000 on Facebook. Okay, and there was some kind of addiction that happened. Everyone would come, we will just walk aimlessly somewhere, and people of all ages, all classes, every part of the society was represented in the walk. There were CEOs, there were filmmakers, there were lawyers, there were doctors. Everyone would just come and get addicted. And the moment it started becoming very popular, everyone said, let's have some purpose for the walk. Let us start achieving targets. Let us decide that we will walk 10 kilometers and then 20 and then 50 and then we should do 100. Someone said we should have a particular speed. So let us do this. Let's form an age group and a fitness level. Children below 13 not allowed. People above 15 not allowed. So that we can all walk at a certain pace, let's achieve. Let's walk for a cause. Someone said, let's start teaching children tree names and let us tell them what this bird is and what that animal is and all that. But somehow we were very, very unruly and none of these things prevailed and we just continued walking. And actually we were so unruly that we never even marked our trails. We would just go to the jungle, start walking, didn't have any idea of where we were going, get terribly lost, and we continued on. We would walk in every season, rain, hail, storm, 4-degree temperature in winters, or really, really peak of summer. We would just go out and walk like crazy people. And really, we were really behaving like walk junkies and all that. And children kept walking with us, all the ages were walking with us. One of those interesting things that used to happen on the walk was that we often got lost. We would park our cars at one place and come out some 5 kilometers away after a 4-5 hour long walk. And the only way we could reach our cars was we would hitchhike with just about anything. Trailer, trolleys, tractors, बैलगाड़ी, किसी से भी begging, pleading, manipulating, भैया बैठने दो. Once we hijacked a bus because that day I was saying we were going in a different direction. We said, भैया please ले जाओ. We sat in the bus and said you have to take us. And that is how we used to reach home. And once when we were lost like this, this purpose thing kept coming up again and again, age limit and purpose and this that. So once when we were lost, we realized that we were really, really behaving like little kids. We're fighting, we're angry with each other, no water, we are still laughing like, really crazy people and all that. And at the same time, if किसी का call आया, where are you? Husbands calling wives and wives calling husbands and saying, where the hell are you? Walk किसका 3 बजे तक चलता है, सुबह 6 बजे गए थे, what the hell are you doing? You're taking me for a walk. And the others like, piping up and saying, नहीं, यहाँ पे सब लोग हैं. And if it was a guy getting a call from a woman, then a lot of men will make noises so that the lady knows who is with. And if it was a woman, the women will speak up. And it was like, almost like a courtyard. Okay, like if any of you have been lucky enough to grow up in a small town or in a family house, and if you've experienced what a courtyard is. A courtyard is a place which doesn't have a purpose. It's like a purposeless place around which a lot of purposeful things are built. There's a room for sleeping, there's a room for washing, there's a room for cooking, there's a room for storage, but the courtyard does not have the purpose. And there is a symbolic thing which you will hear in all kind of spiritual, philosophical, creative rendition which talks about this empty space that you need in your mind and in your life. So the empty bowl, Rumi, if any one of you has read Rumi or Kabir, all of them are talking about this empty space, an empty bowl. And you will know that the purpose of this empty bowl, if you think of all the scientific discoveries, some of the biggest scientific discoveries, how did they happen? The guy was not sitting, Archimedes, he was sitting in a tub enjoying his bath when he ran out naked. And Newton was sitting under a tree reading a book. And that is how they came up with some of their best scientific discoveries. And if there are any advertising people here, you know that some of the best campaigns are tracked in this very, very wonderful spiritual place that all of us have to go to sometimes or the other. So this is the symbolic purpose of the courtyard in your head. So there's a physical courtyard and there's a courtyard in your head which needs to have space. Because imagine if a natural disaster happens, which happens all the time. There'll be relationship breakups, there'll be job layoffs, there'll be all kinds of problems that one has to deal with. And what happens is that if there's an earthquake, you need to run into an empty space, right? And when you don't have that empty space, then everything just collapses on each other. And that is one of the reasons why modern living is so stressful and leads to so many stress-related syndromes. Apart from this, and also another example that you can take from science is the defragmentation that your devices require. Imagine doing anything while your laptop is defragmenting. You will have a crash to deal with. So that is the symbolic purpose of that courtyard, and that is the space probably that LWG had found for many people. The other purpose of the courtyard is again a physical space where everyone can spill into. Okay, the newborn child, the old grandparent, the achar is made in the courtyard, clothes are dried in the courtyard, bitching is happening in the courtyard, fighting is happening in the courtyard, solutions are found in the courtyard, and everyone and your relatives who may have different circumstances in life of different classes will come and sit in that courtyard. So basically the courtyard breaks barriers of age, ability, gender, class, and various other kind of things, and provides a space where you can just be. You don't need a purpose to talk to the person someone could be making achar while you are just sitting reading your book, and you can still be together in that space. And the extension of that courtyard which you found in rural living and other small towns and all that, was the Saja Chula, the Kuan that the people went to, the Panchayat Angan, where people of all views, of all sensibilities, of different genders, of different ages could converge, sometimes purposefully and sometimes just because human beings need to be together with each other. And then look at the kind of urban living that we experience. Urban living is all about barriers. Okay? Your condos, if you're living in a condo, there is a gate, there's a guy standing at the gate, you can't enter, you need a pass to enter, your maids and all. You go to visit your friend or your mom, they say address likhwao, you know. So there are barriers that we have built everywhere. And we have, Gurgaon is such a prime example of the barriers. You know, the NHA, the boundary, it is like line of control, worse than the line of control, old Gurgaon, new Gurgaon. We have, you know, they feel that we have entered, a certain part of Gurgaon feels we have entered into their territory and we are taking over their lifestyle. And we feel threatened and say, these, you know, I don't want to use the ethnic term, but, you know, these people are a threat to our safety, to our way of life, to our lifestyle. And they say exactly the same things about us. And so those are the divides that we have built. And it is just inadvertently, initially, you know, without thinking, I think, LWG spilled into that space, the vacuum that urban living has created, and kind of just collapsed all the boundaries. Because people of, again, you know, gender boundaries, age boundaries, ability boundaries, thinking boundaries, because there are people from different point of views, different ages, and slowly, you know, some of us started realizing what it meant to everyone. And then we had to make some simple, no-brainer rules to ensure that this community that we are creating stays this slightly utopian situation that is much required. One was equality. We were all equal. We shared everything. We walked together, and one of the things to ensure, instead of, because people were telling us make age limits because we have to walk at a certain speed. We said our speed is the speed, LWG follows a speed which is the speed of the slowest walker. So you have included everyone. The slowest walker who walks with us, we have had old people for whom we have slowed down, we have kids for whom we have slowed down. The other thing is something that we call the line of sight. You have to maintain the line of sight with all the walkers. So if you can't see the person ahead of you and if you can't see the person behind you, you're supposed to yell stop, and everyone stops, gets together, and then we move. So what happens is, if there is an injury, if there is a problem, if there is someone who can't, you know, cross a certain, we do a lot of rock climbing and crazy things. So, you know, if someone is having those difficulties, you get help. Now look at this situation symbolically. You know, in our life, we are too busy to maintain line of sight with the people behind us, and the people who are ahead of us are too busy to maintain line of sight with us. So if there is an injury, if there is something, if we need help, we can't yell to the next person, and there is no one around us to help. The other thing we did was, it is a completely non-commercial thing, and we have fought hard to keep it non-commercial. Because even if we have a cup of tea, everyone is supposed to pull out their wallet and give 5 rupees. No big daddy, no big mama is supposed to take her purse out and pay and say, I'm the boss here. So everyone is absolutely and completely equal. Now the rural-urban divide. One of the very interesting incidents that happened on one of the walks was that we'd gone for a picnic to Vindawas, and we were sitting there, and there was suddenly this feeling amongst all us slick urbanites that this place is very dangerous. Now why is it dangerous? Because we have these big cars with like fancy audio systems and all that, and you're playing loud music in a bird sanctuary, and when the villagers and dancing, And when the villagers gathered around, we said, this place is dangerous. Okay? And that started building up, and some of us said, come on, let's enjoy the picnic, nothing is going to happen. And suddenly we see these 3, 4, 5 cars, coming in, and you should have seen the tension. People are getting stressed. All the men stand up like that and ensure that they are standing around the women, the children are collected and all that. And let us pack up and khana, we eat a lot, and the people eat a lot. Like, this is not the place for fitness. So, so much food around and all that, and we're just packing up and whispers going on and all that, and men, these are these. Suddenly, those cars come, stop, men, women, kids, old people, all spill out. They have their daris, they have their little chula, they have come there for a picnic. And they invited us and said, please join us. So, after that, we made a rule that when you're walking in the rural areas, please do not look through the people who are walking, who are there. You're passing their houses, or they cross you somewhere, and you just walk away and look through them, and we do have a tendency to do that. We find it very funny if a villager says Capri. Girls broke into giggles because one villager said, oh, Capri wali ladki udhar gayi, aap usko dhoond rahe ho. That is funny, and then you think they are rude. That is the divide that we actually have managed to break to a large extent. And you are supposed to say hello. And the moment you break that barrier and say namaste, you want to find out the way, and you give them the dignity that you expect to get from another person. You really, and we have had wonderful experiences. We've been invited into their homes. We have been fed, charged by the bucket loads, and all kind of, like, we've really been taken into their arms. So this is how we just purposely walked on, and this is the courtyard that we found. Out of this courtyard, many purposeful activities have emerged. Okay, we have done a cleanliness drive in Gurgaon. We have been in the forefront of very serious protests and have made some really remarkable changes in the pattern of street lights and patrolling and all that. We have done NGO work, we have done charity work and all that, and children have by themselves actually found LWG interesting enough to do homework projects on LWG. We didn't teach them the name of a banyan tree, but we taught them that you can enjoy a banyan tree. A banyan tree by any other name is equally climbable, with apologies to Shakespeare. So this is what LWG has done for many people. This is the community, symbolic community that we have created, and the whole idea of this community is that you cannot keep complaining about what the urban life is doing to you, because you are taking the advantages of that life also. So you need to find alternate models of community which can give you the same kind of support system that you need. And a lot of us have actually found ourselves and found a lot of meaning in life because of LWG, and that is the purpose of fishing in the fishless pond. We go out every Saturday and we fish in the fishless pond, pull out a lot of happiness, and that female Humpty Dumpty, I have her permission to reveal her identity. She has found herself, and we hope that a lot of you may find your own fishless ponds and find yourself in some happiness. Thank you.